Utah in a second. Let's start out a little bit with Tucker. The choice of it, how difficult was it for you, for him? Explain, finally just saying, okay, we got to pull the plug.
Yeah, I mean, for him, obviously when we had to shut him down, it was one of those things like doing everything possible to try to get him back. So, he wanted to be a part of this group and what we had going, but ultimately it was with the doctors and things, it was just something that we couldn't get to that point, and we had to have the surgery. So, without getting in a lot of details on that, it's the good part is it's done, it's over, and now we're starting the new process of a new rehab. So, but everything went well, so that's great, and I know from his standpoint, he's looking forward to getting back and being healthy again in about 2 to 3 months or so.
He's been fighting this for a while, hadn't he? This has been a long-term thing, right?
Yeah, I mean it's been a long process, I guess, for him. So I know he's tired of the training room.
When's the last time he's been healthy? I mean, fully healthy. Can you think back? Sophomore year, junior year, maybe?
Yeah, it was the end of his sophomore year. So, and for from a timing perspective, obviously he wanted to play, wanted to get back, but to be able to have it now and instead of the last couple years, he missed the whole off season. So from being able to train and now get in the weight room and work on his game, that part actually from a timing standpoint works out better than the last couple years. If you're trying to find the bright side, that's a little bit of a silver lining. Is now he's going to have a full off season to get back and prepare.
About coming back?
What's that?
Have you talked to him about playing here next year?
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna use that year and play. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. He's looking forward to that. So, yeah.
This Utah team, I mean, I guess they play like every defense known to man. Is that right? They have a lot of variety. They do. What is the one thing you look at them and you say, wow, they do this really well?
I mean, I think for them, it's just that keeping you off balance. They run triangle, they run box, they run 2-3 zone, they run man. They'll guard some guys, not guard some other guys. So it's just, it's a lot to prepare for. So that's the hardest part. And even like yesterday, you're coming off a long road trip, get back 3:30 in the morning or whatever. So you can't really do a lot yesterday, and so today's our only prep of trying to go through all of this type of stuff. I mean, you do a little bit, like a very little bit in the summertime / fall, like, hey, just in case, like we do a couple reps, but nobody really does that a lot. So you haven't spent much time on it from just a preparation standpoint. Like otherwise, everything else you cover in the summer and fall, and then when somebody uses it, you have it at least ready. We've worked on it before. This is triangle and box and one you just don't see very often. So that's something that just takes a little more time.
Do they do that to make you waste time on it?
Probably.
I mean, yeah.
It works because we're spending time on it. Yeah, you have to. So then there's only so much practice time you can do, especially this time of year. So yeah, we're certainly dedicating a decent amount of time to it.
Part of the advantage of that from their standpoint that your team has to recognize it really quickly, and if you take a couple possessions to say, oh, they're in this, we need to be running that you might burn a couple possessions per game just getting against it.
Yeah, that's certainly the plus side of when you have multiple defenses like that. It makes it harder to recognize and keeps you off balance and things. So that's why I think it's important as an offense you don't try to do too much either. So you have to be able to still play and be aggressive and not get caught just staring at it and trying to figure it out. By the time you do, it's too late, and now you end up with a bad possession. So I think from our standpoint, it's, hey, we got these things that we're ready for, but also still be aggressive in what we're trying to do.
Tried box and one on Javon this year, or any kind of semblance of it?
I think they've done a lot of different things. There's never been they just are in a box and one, but he's gotten double teamed, he's gotten triple teamed. Like he's certainly seen people trying to take him away. The box and one is just another way of doing that.
Look at their lineup, very similar size-wise to maybe Arizona State, Georgetown, would you say?
Yeah.
In terms of what they're playing?
Yeah, they're huge. I don't remember. I thought somebody said they're like fourth or fifth biggest lineup in the country or something like that. So their starting five is, I mean, it's really big, really tall.
They got a 7-foot center. I think it's averaging 2 assists a game. So their bigs pass it well.
Yeah, he does. They do a lot of kind of back cutting and movement and things. So they get some backdoor layups. They got good shooting actions and stuff like flare, rescreen. They do some of the things we do with our bigs at times, where we're up at the top and you got some screening actions to the left and right of them, and he does a really good job of seeing the floor.
Obviously, Josh is with them, and when you got in here, he was still here. I'm sure you probably got a chance to get to know him a little bit. How much did he help you with the transition and just the short amount of time that you got to spend with him? What was he like?
Yeah, Josh is terrific, and he was really helpful. I hadn't come up, and we sat down and met for a long time, and he was incredibly helpful in the transition and anything I needed from his end that he was certainly willing to help with. But obviously don't know him well, but the short time that I have, really good guy, and happy for him, and they got another opportunity at Utah.
With the medical redshirt, there's one part of it I'm not clear on. Like you guys apply for it at the end of the year, right? Now, does that go to the conference or the NCAA or?
It goes to the conference.
It goes to the conference. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll be the Big 12 that approves. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Coach, I don't think you've ever been back to Creighton.
I'm 90% sure of that.
It's a mixed bag.
Things change.
Yeah, right.
I don't think you've ever been back to Creighton as a coach. But is it weird? Do you think it'll be weird for Josh? I mean, have you talked to other guys who've gone back to places they've been? And I assume it's weirder than for players because you're more involved as a coach.
Yeah, I think it's, like when I was at Drake, I played at Northern Iowa, so you go back to, it's different, but you go back to where you played. So I think the thing about it is just you have a lot of people to see in a short period of time. You're only here for a couple of days. So, but from that standpoint, it makes it a unique, road trip from that way. So I know last year we played in Omaha in the NCAA tournament. So that was a different type of feeling, when you're coaching a different team at a place that I had been at for 20 years. So, but it's always good. You get back and see a lot of people that you've known for a long time.
You're freshman. You're kind of at that point in the year, February, where you got to get mindful of them. Because in high school they don't play this long or this much volume or whatnot. I don't think KJ scored since Kansas. And, Powell's had good games and he struggled. Have you been mindful of that? Have you tried to help them through that a little bit? And, you're at that point of the year, kind of the dog days of the season, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think for them and for everybody, but freshmen, it is a long year for them, and it's they've made a lot of adjustments up to this point, and now it's like you said, just a little longer than maybe they're used to. So, and especially in JP's case, like he's having to play a lot of minutes. For us, we're trying to do everything we can to make sure and keep them fresh, keep them confident, because we need both of them to be good for us because they both play really important roles for this team.
This is an odd stat. They don't score a ton, but I think they're number 1 in the country in assists to field goals, right? Which I don't know if that says anything to a coach because, again, they don't light it up, but I'm guessing they run a lot of good stuff and they are connected offensively. It's just as an opponent, you see a number like that, whether it's first or top 5, whatever. Telling you anything about what to prepare for, what to expect?
Yeah, and you're right on it. Like they run a lot of good actions, and that's how they score. A lot of back cuts and things where it's a little less one-on-one, and a lot more facilitating and using screening actions to score. And they do a good job there of executing it. And mentioned earlier, they got their 5 men out in space, and so they can really spread you out if you're not careful. That now you're getting back cut a lot, and they also have some shooting, and that can early in the year was really good, and in Big 12 play it hasn't been quite as consistent, but they're certainly they got our attention, that's for sure, because they have guys that can go hit 5, 6, 7 of them if you let them get started.
Defensively, I wonder if that's a challenge for players because so much is just one-on-one or ball screen on defense and having to defend that. But also, you all are fairly highly ranked in like the fewest assists to baskets too. I don't. Does that say something to a coach about how you defend when teams can't run their stuff against you? And you do have to guard one-on-one and screens and things like that.
Yeah, it's definitely different in what maybe we're guarding every day. We run a lot with Javon in ball screen actions and things, so that's where a lot of his points come off of. It's just him, coming off the bounce and making plays, but yeah, it's definitely different than maybe what we see every day.
How about for your defense? Like you typically don't allow a lot of assists when teams score too, and I guess that's a testament to all the things you're saying about their offense projects to your defense.
Right. Hopefully that fits well for us. That's I think our defense at times has been pretty disruptive and taking away some things and some of the movement. Again, you just got to be solid in it and disciplined and not get too anxious on some of those things because they are so good at back cutting.
13 turnovers a game. Where are they coming from when you study them? They're averaging 13 a game.
Yeah, they're kind of random in how they occur. They've had some games where they had a huge number. I know Houston, I think Houston turns everybody over, but yeah, it's just kind of random with some of their whether it's getting trapped or passing out of when they do drive, maybe getting stripped or some of those type of things. So I don't think it's any one thing per se, but also we know like for our defense to be good, we got to create some turnovers because that helps our offense, and that's so we got to be pretty aggressive there.
Can you force them to one side of the floor, or are they so big they can throw over it? Is that possible?
They're pretty big. They can throw over. So they play a lot through the middle of the floor, with their actions. So they'll have two actions going on each side with the ball in the middle.
As long as we're talking statistics, you're playing the third game in a row against the three worst foul shooting teams in the Big 12, and this one's being the worst. They've made 11 of 10, 11 of 12 against you, and 20 out of 23. Where the hell's your free throw defense?
Your free throw defense.
I agree with you. Like we got to wave our hands a little different while they're shooting free throws. I'm waiting for those stats to actually be real. I look at them and go like somebody's lying because the last two games they've certainly connected on their free throw attempts.
More seriously, and I know you don't like to talk about the way games are called, but the last couple of games, last three games, Javon's shot 4 free throws and he's shooting the ball a lot. I mean, is he getting banged around more maybe than he's getting called?
Yeah, I think from our end we just encourage Javon just to continue to drive it and be aggressive, and you'll get rewarded. Whether he's gotten fouled or not gotten fouled, I think he's doing the right thing in terms of getting to the rim, and those free throw attempts will come, whenever that happens. But for right now, I like his aggression. I like the way he's getting to the rim.
Kind of interested in this. I mean, you guys are a little bit over halfway through the conference season now. I mean, you haven't played everyone yet, but it's kind of been a season where, we grabbed a lot of attention by beating some of the teams at the top, and then there's been frustrations with some team. How do you handle? Have you ever been in a conference like that where the teams at the bottom can beat the teams at the top, teams in the middle can beat? It just seems like there's really no rhyme or reason to who beats who on any given night in this league, and there's probably some swings with that, right?
Right.
I mean, whether they be emotional or mental or whatever.
Yeah, as you said, this is a really good league. Like a lot of leagues, top to bottom, anybody can beat anybody. But I think for us, it's always been really pretty narrow focused on we have to play good for the 40 minutes that's right in front of us. And when we've done that, we've been pretty successful. When we've come up a little short of that, we've come up on the wrong end. So again, our goal for this week is we got a huge game against Utah, and we need to play well. And if you don't, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get beat, and that's just what this league is. And it's we got the home stretch coming up here, a big stretch for us. We've had some success to put us in position to be in position, but now you got to finish, and that's a big deal for us. So this 40 minutes on Saturday is a big home game, like they all are. But the most important one's the next one, and that's Utah on Saturday.
Jaden Stone, would you apply for a redshirt medical for him as well?
Yeah, Jaden won't need a medical because he never played in a game, so he can just take a regular red shirt, which he will do at this time.
You talked to him about coming back, or, I mean, in today's world, who knows where a guy goes?
Yeah, we haven't had those discussions yet, but for right now, it was the best thing for him.
You were talking about Utah's size. What kind of challenges does that present for Amani and even for Eduardo, who's obviously a little bit taller, but the challenges that they face there?
Yeah, there's just great size, not even just their 7-footer. They just have great size everywhere around the rim to protect, So if, when you go in there, you got to be pretty smart about, when to challenge and when not to, because they do have so much size.
It looks like offensive rebounding wise, they don't have one guy, but several guys that grab them. Is that more of a challenge when you know you've got 5 guys that can grab offensive rebounds?
Yeah, and I think that's just exactly it too. Like they just have so many guys with size that they can, multiple guys can kind of be in an area to grab one. So again, it's been that way all year. But if you don't get bodies on these guys, they're so big and long, and you let them get into a space when it comes off the rim that they're just taller, bigger than you, they're going to come up with more than you are, and that's going to be a big part of us having some success too. Is making sure we were able to get into their legs, get them out further, so we can win those battles.
Sincere, lower body, I guess, was he just kind of limited at the end of the game?
Yeah, he wasn't able to finish, and we're not sure yet what his availability will be for the game Saturday.
Probably a dumb question, but it seemed like a stop or two on defense would have been huge here. Does that underscore, because he's been very good, especially in those moments down toward the end of the game too, that there was a lack of whatever he provides there at that point?
Yeah, no, it certainly would have been great to have him available to finish out that game. As you said, like there was a few possessions there where it would have been nice that, because he's our best on-ball defender, and everybody knows that. So having him on the floor in those situations, would have been more valuable to our defense, no question. And even in the first half, he picks up 2 fouls, and that's happened a couple times now, where we're guarding really well. He picks up that second foul, and there's just a little bit of a drop off. And we want to keep him on the floor longer, but even when he goes off, we got to try to avoid those drop offs.
Sell out, cold rush. What's your message to the fans on Saturday?
Yeah, that's. I'm excited. I know it's a big game, so home games are huge for us, and we have a great home court advantage, especially when the crowd is really engaged and into it, and we have one of the louder buildings, not only in the league but in the country, and that impacts your chances of winning when you're at home and you got a crowd that can disrupt opponents just with the sheer noise, and not only that, it impacts your own team, from just an energy standpoint. So excited to be at home, excited to have a sellout. Should be a great atmosphere.
How much is rebounding an issue tomorrow?
How much is rebounding?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
rebounding's a concern every night, and the other night, we got out rebounded, and that was a part of why we didn't win the game. So we got to be better there.